I want to talk about the reality of getting into software and kind of set realistic expectations and go over how to properly start and succeed. I want to talk about some of the biggest challenges and mistakes that I've made and some of the biggest challenges and mistakes that I've seen other people make. First off, I want to say that SaaS is probably the best business model you can get into in 2023 and 2024, and I do not say that lightly. AI is one of the biggest trends to ever hit the internet, so jumping in on it now will make you a lot of money. Software companies are selling for record high multiples on EBITDA for all of the benefits that we're familiar with, like no employees, highly scalable, high profit margins, and the list goes on. So when it comes to starting a software company, especially now, there really are two key parts to this, and you're probably not looking to start the next Facebook, but you want something with a few thousand users. And those two parts are the product and the marketing. That is all you need to succeed in SaaS. It's a good product and very good marketing. So many people start by spending tons of money, and I want to give you kind of like my blueprint on how to go about getting a really good product, and then also how to get really good dialed in marketing. So let's start with the product. First off, you don't want to spend any money. And I know I say this in a lot of other videos, but you don't want to buy a domain name. You don't want to buy a website. You don't even want to really spend money on UI UX designs. You want to start with nothing. Your goal is to find a really big problem in a niche area and then sell the solution, or build the solution and then sell the solution. If you don't already have an idea for a software product or you don't have the solution to a problem, then you're gonna wanna do some research. And there's really one or two methods that I recommend here. First off, you can take what somebody else is already doing great, tweak one or two things, and curate it towards either a different audience or just kind of make it your own. This is a really effective strategy used by some of the biggest companies in the world. If you look at Google, they were not the first search engine. You look at Facebook, not the first social media site. Stripe, not the first payment processor. So if you're not first, you have to either be better or different. And in this case, with so many people now being on social media and the internet, there is a huge opportunity for you to be different. Here's what I mean. Say somebody creates a lead generation tool for education companies. Can you take a similar approach as them and just curate it towards real estate businesses or solar companies? Do you kind of see how this works? So instead of you having to actually do a bunch of market research and come up with some crazy idea using ChatGPT, you can just take what somebody else is already doing and just make it your own. Your goal with this entire thing is to find something called product market fit. And if you can already find somebody who's achieved product market fit and you know that the product works, then why not just copy what they're doing? Now, while that is a good option for finding an idea, there is one other option, and that's to partner with a company. And this is something that I'd recommend. Say you go to a specific trade business and you want to create them a lead generation tool to acquire more clients for, say, industrial lighting. You want to pitch that company this entire lead generation tool, what it's going to do, what it's going to cost, how it's going to improve their business. And if the product can really do what you say it can do, then they'll be willing to partner with you and maybe even fund the project for percent ownership in that lead generation tool. Now, this is something that I'd always recommend that you do because you kind of already pre-sold a client. If you work at a restaurant and you see that they're having a really hard time managing reservations or carry-out orders or something like that, it's a lot easier for you to say, hey, what if I created this tool for this specific restaurant and they fund it? Or maybe you guys come to some sort of agreement where you fund the project, you own the company, but they're gonna be your first client and pay you $1,000 a month. Anytime you can pre-sell something like that, it's a lot easier to justify actually building it. Now, once you have your really good idea or your solution to a problem, then it's time to actually go and test it. You want to get an MVP built, and this is a minimum viable product. It's the absolute most bare bones version of your product, and it may work or it may not work. An MVP could be something as simple as a Google slideshow showing what your product is. You want to then take that MVP, go to either a business or other consumers that's going to be your target customer, and then get feedback on the product before you actually go and build it. Let's say for this example that you started off with a Google slideshow showing off exactly what the user journey is of your product. If you then bring that to, say, a consumer that's your target customer, and they say they really like it, but it should have this feature and that feature and whatever, that just saved you thousands and thousands of dollars going and building the product, and you may have even just gotten one pre-sale. Once you've reached the stage of either testing your MVP or partnering with the company and you're ready to move forward, then it's time to actually build the product. Now, this is where I'd recommend, if you haven't done so already, to get UI UX designs built. This is user interface, user experience. Basically, what does it look like when the customer uses your platform? You can hire people on Upwork for as little as $3 an hour to do this. UI UX designs are very important for a few reasons. The main one being what you have in your head and what you communicate to a developer may be two different things. If you have UI UX designs, you guys both have the same set of eyes, it's gonna get built the right way. And I will say that if you don't have at least a few $1,000s to spend on building your first version of your product, then do not get into SaaS, because this is a very, very cutthroat industry, especially now, and it's going to require a lot of time, effort, and capital. And remember, when you're budgeting for this, the first version of your product is going to definitely change over time. Look at any great tech startup. Airbnb didn't even have payment processing on their first version of their product. You iterate, and you iterate more. So up to this point, you basically have the first version of your product built. Now, this can take anywhere from 6 to 8 to 10 weeks to do all of this. Some people, it can take them a year or two. It all depends on you and where you want to put your money. Once you have that product, the first working version, and you're able to actually go and acquire clients, next comes the second most important part of any software company, and that's the marketing. Now let's talk about arguably one of the most important parts of starting a software company, and that's the marketing. Because you could have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, you won't make money. Let's run through a really, really bad marketing strategy for a software company. Let's say you sell a business-to-consumer AI blog writer, and your marketing strategy is to build your product, go out and run paid ads. That is a recipe for a $70 to $150 customer acquisition cost, and for you to lose a ton of money. I'm gonna say this now and remember it for the rest of your life. Paid ads are for scaling what you're already doing organically. For example, you post an organic ad and it starts to get a little bit of traction. That's your proof that that ad is actually high converting and works. Then you run Spark ads on that ad and you boost it. That marketing strategy alone will save you thousands and thousands of dollars and a lot of headache and demotivation. The best marketing strategies are the ones that cost you no money. You see big companies all the time spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on advertisements or pieces of content, and then they go spend millions of dollars promoting it, when it's a huge waste. They have absolutely no proof that that ad works. They're kind of just going on a hunch. Just like you're gonna iterate with your product, you wanna iterate with your ads. The best part about social media is that it's instantaneous feedback. If you make 100 pieces of content advertising your AI blog writer, and one of them goes really well, then you're gonna wanna run ads on that piece of content. You're not gonna see the results that you're looking for because you haven't proved that that ad works. As I mentioned before, if you can work with a company right away and then sell your first client before you even build your software business, that's the best way to go, because then from there you have a testimonial. Then you can reach out to other businesses or cold call, all the marketing strategies that are free but take you a lot of time. Marketing is one of those things where there's so much that goes into it, but in reality it's just, can you grab a lot of attention? Can you put out a bunch of pieces of content? Can you prove that 1 or 2 or 3 of them work? And then can you run paid ads on those and scale from there? A really good example I'm gonna give you is Shopify. Shopify knows that every 1/3 customer that signs up, 33%, will stay with the platform for life. That means that they are willing to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to acquire a customer, even though they won't see immediate returns, because they know that those customers will stay for life. Their customer lifetime value is so high that they're willing to put off immediate returns for those future ones. You have to run your company in a similar way. Now, obviously you don't have the marketing budget that Shopify does or the cash flow. You have to be paying attention to these key metrics and know that if your customer lifetime value is $50, you're not spending $75 to acquire a customer. Again, this goes back to, are you properly funded to start a software company, and how fine-tuned is your plan? Good luck with your SaaS business. I have a Discord link in the description where we talk about business, finance, whatever. You can ask me any questions that you want to in the comments. Subscribe. Thank you.